What up, everybody? Coming back at you with some more college football content. Sorry wasn't able to make a video last week or over the weekend. Usually try to make one at halftime of the Georgia game and make another one at the end of the game and do a little something midweek. I think I got one out midweek with the Georgia Ole Miss preview, but I just wasn't quite able to get around to doing one Saturday. We've just been real busy. My allergies have been flared up. It's just been a time this past week. Anyway, I wanted to make this video about the coach firings going on around college football and kind of my thoughts about it. I know none of it's really groundbreaking news. It's been all over the place, but I do feel like different people have different takes, if you will. And I don't know if mine's necessarily unique. I do want to talk about a couple of different things. Different people I've been listening to that I respect, that I like watching their channel. But anyway, so I want to start off with James Franklin. Penn State fires James Franklin after a horrible loss to Northwestern or whatever. They had lost to Oregon, and you know, I don't know, man. James Franklin's a good coach, and I guess we'll wait and see what Penn State ends up doing, who they end up bringing in. There's a lot of talk about a lot of different things about to happen. But I just look at it, and I look at the landscape of college football, and look at the guy they fired, and I'm thinking, I don't see a obvious hire that's better than what you just let go. And you paid him almost $60 million to walk away. That to me is foolish. I'm sorry. And you know, I understand you feel like, you know, he hadn't been able to win the big games. I get it. Guys, I'm a Georgia fan. We had Mark Richt. You know, I understand what it's like to have a 9-10 win coach, but every time you get in a position where you could potentially win a championship, it don't happen. I get it. So I'm going to reserve my feelings about the situation personally, because I was pissed off after the Mark Richt firing. A lot of people may not, you know, that know me may not remember, but I was very upset with Georgia for the way they let Mark Richt go, because we were going into the unknown. Yeah, Kirby coaches for Nick Saban at the time, and that looks great, and, you know, Nick Saban disciple, but you were letting go a proven commodity, somebody who was winning 9-10 games every year, who had won an SEC championship at Georgia, and who was bringing in some pretty good talent. I mean, were we, you know, top 2 in recruiting every year? No. But we were top 10. I mean, we were plenty good enough to compete with anybody in the country. And obviously we see how that ended up working out. Kirby Smart wins 2 national titles with Georgia, and the rest is history. So we'll see what happens with Penn State. Personally, though, fuck Penn State. I think it was dirty the way you did the man. I think he deserved better than that. This is the first year that I can remember James Franklin having a bad year since he's been there. And I just think if that's the precedent you're setting, what coach is going to want to come there? If they know I have one bad year, I'm fired. It's championship or bust. You know, what kind of standard are you setting that is inviting to a really good football coach? You think Lane Kiffin wants to leave Ole Miss to go to Penn State to, you know, championship or bust, championship or fired? I don't think so. Anyway, we'll move on from that. I'm going to stick by what I think. I went on 5 minutes about Penn State. I think it's foolish. I think it's foolish. And I hope they circle the fucking sewers for the next 10 years, for the next decade, because they let what is probably going to end up being the best coach they've ever had go. We'll move on to Billy Napier. He's the most recent one that just got let go. I think he should have been fired last year. I mean, I don't know what Florida's waiting on. You were never going to win anything with Billy. We all knew it. As a Georgia fan, I love the fact that you kept Billy. You know, I mean, Georgia fans talked about it all offseason. Go watch Uncle Lou. He keeps telling you, the guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. You know, he hasn't since he's been there. You know, he won't get an offensive coordinator. He's going to live or die by calling his own plays. In this case, you know, career died from it, or at least his Florida career. And you know, this is a guy that was a good group of 5 coach. Not great. He was good. You bring him to Florida thinking he's going to be great, and he's not. He's just not. So, Billy's gone, and all the news and all the rumors circling Florida right now are Lane Kiffin. and look, I get it. The state of Florida is loaded with talent. And I know Lane Kiffin has to be looking at that, licking his chops, going, I can win a championship at Florida. But here's the thing, Lane. I think you can win one at Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is already happy with what you've been doing. You go to Florida having 8-4, 9-3 years, and missing the playoffs by a game or two a couple years in a row, Florida's going to be talking about your buyout. I mean, it's the truth. And Ole Miss, they're ready to build a statue for you already. They love you. So, if I was Lane Kiffin, I wouldn't do it. If you got to flirt around with Florida to get some more money, whatever you think you got to do, fine. But, you know, look, there's a reason. There is a reason Florida hasn't been able to bring in elite coaches. And they've been going to the smaller schools, and they haven't been able to pull some of these bigger name coaches. And it's simple. It's because the AD sucks. The fan base sucks. Fuck Florida. The boosters suck. And you know, go back and look at the mess they've been dealing with since NIL came out. Look at Jaden Rashada. Look at that mess. I mean, they promise money that never happens. They're such a wishy-washy program. Lagway and Baugh are both good players. They got a pretty good defense. But, I mean, you got it made where you're at, Lane. You don't need Florida. Florida needs you. But if I'm talking to Florida fans right now, yeah, you need to be trying to put all the pressure you can on that AD to hire Lane Kiffin and those boosters because it's a perfect fit for you guys. But is it a perfect fit for Lane? I'm not so sure. I'm really not. I think Lane's in a really good situation where he's at. And I'm sorry, guys, my allergies are still flared up. But I want to move on from that. We'll see what ends up happening. I think Lane Kiffin needs to be your first, second, and third call. I heard somebody earlier, I think it was that goober that runs that On3 show, Piquel, JD Piquel. I can't stand that son of a bitch. He is the most unmasculine dude talking football. I'm sorry. But sometimes I do like hearing his takes because sometimes he does have some decent takes. I give it to him. I just think he's so pussy-fat. But anyway, he said that Florida should be calling Marcus Freeman and blowing his phone up and not stop calling him until he files harassment charges. Dude, hold the fuck up. Why? Don't you see how that's working out for LSU? Brian Kelly went to a national championship with Notre Dame, dude. Brian Kelly's a decent coach, but he ain't out here winning SEC championships and national championships. LSU's ready to shit can his ass. I mean, I just think it's so absurd that somebody can have one good year, and now you have all these media pundits that are like, oh yeah, break the bank for this guy, break the bank for this guy. And nobody wants to go pay $100 million for fucking Marcus Freeman and his pretty boy fucking skinny fucking khakis and his pretty boy haircut. Fuck Marcus Freeman and fuck Notre Dame. And fuck you, J.D. PicKell. I'm sorry, but that's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. Also, I watched Carolina Jackpot a good bit, and I got to see his reaction to the Oklahoma beatdown of South Carolina. And I understand. I'm a Georgia fan, and if it was happening in Georgia, I'd probably have some words to say too. But you got to calm down, man. You South Carolina fans have got to calm down. Shane Beamer took y'all to 9-4 last year. 9-3 almost got y'all in the playoffs. Shane Beamer has proven that he can win at South Carolina. And he's overachieved more times than not. You're having a bad year this year, but your offensive line fucking sucks. Your offensive coordinator fucking sucks. And you lost a good bit off that defense from last year. More specifically, Kennard. Was it Kennard? Yeah, because you still got Dylan Stewart, so it was Kennard. You guys have got to calm down. I think Shane Beamer's going to be fine. Don't go paying no fucking ridiculous buyout. Don't be going and doing no fucking fire Beamer fucking marches around the school. Just chill. Let Beamer fire this offensive coordinator at the end of the year. You're not going to hire a better offensive coordinator right now. You're going to have to wait to the end of the season. Go find you a solid offensive coordinator who can run a system that will more utilize Lenore Sellers' strength. Or even if it isn't Lenore Sellers, anybody you put in their strength that is athletic. I think that offense tends to predicate around an athletic quarterback and operates better under one. So go get you an athletic quarterback if Sellers leaves, or you need to give Aaron Nolan some money to stay. We don't know what he looks like yet. And go get somebody that can run the system like Diego Pavia is running over at Vanderbilt. You know, and you got receivers. South Carolina's always got decent receivers. You always seem to have decent tight ends. Your offensive line is doo-doo. They definitely have to do something about that O-line. But I'm telling you right now, you fire Shane Beamer, South Carolina's not getting first pick of coaches. Steve Spurrier's not walking back through that fucking door. And if Steve Spurrier were around today, he would not be coming to South Carolina to coach. With the way things are today. The way recruiting and transfer portal and NIL, he would not. He would not. You're not going to get first pick of the litter of the coaches that are out there. You're not going to get Golish, okay? What you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up going and hiring a fucking coordinator from somewhere that is unproven, or a G5 level coach like Auburn's about to have to do. They're probably going to go hire that Sumlin guy, and I think that's a good move for them. I really do. But it's Auburn. You know, that's about the best they're going to be able to do. Fuck Auburn. But South Carolina, man, calm down. Give Shane Beamer next year, and let's see where we're at. Let him bring in another OC. Let him try to fix that O-line. And I know what a lot of people are going to say, well, we've been waiting fucking 3 years and fix fucking line. I get it. I do. But what's going to hurt waiting one more year? You got a 5-star offensive tackle that's already committed. You got some talent on the O-line. It's not a talent issue. it is, if you watch those guys play, it is just totally skill based. They have not developed the pass blocking skills. They run block well at times, and then other times it's just atrocious. But I wouldn't jump the gun if I was a South Carolina fan. I think that you guys are going to be fine. Auburn, like I said, Kevin Summerlin, Summerall, not Summerlin. Summerlin's the dude that used to coach at Texas A&M. The Summerall guy from Tulane, that'd be a good hire. I just don't know who you're going to get if you're Auburn. I don't know who would want to fucking coach there. I don't know what prominent coach would want to coach there. You almost had Lane Kiffin, and he backed out. He realized exactly what kind of shit show he was about to walk into, and he said, "Holla." So, not going to happen. You're not going to get any prominent head coach. They're not going to leave their job to come coach. You're going to have to do like Indiana did and go find your Signetti. That's what you're going to have to do. And it looks like Summerall is probably going to be your best bet. Unless you can convince somebody like Urban Meyer to come out of retirement. And I don't know why the fuck you would want to go to Auburn. But if you can, great. But I think you're going to have to go G5 and hire somebody if you're wanting a proven commodity. If you're not, you're going to have to go start looking at coordinators around the country and figuring out if there's one that you trust to come in right now and try to win you some ball games. Wisconsin, you have got to get away from Luke Fickell. That dude is an absolute travesty. That has been awful. Luke Fickell has been the biggest failure, even worse than Napier. He has been the biggest failure probably in modern college football. Wisconsin was a 9 or 10 win team every fucking year before they brought him in there. And it looked like a good hire. I was one of the people up here screaming, hey, great hire. I think he's going to do great over there. And it hasn't been anything but that. Count that fucking buyout money, and get him out. And get him out fast. That's about all I got with Wisconsin. I don't know who you get. Anybody be better than Fickell at this point. You need to fire everybody, not just Fickell. Every fucking person that has anything to do with that football program right now, get them out. And go find somebody that can come in and do something. I mean, hey, call James Franklin. Penn State owes him a hell of a buyout, and I'm sure he would love to come to Wisconsin and just kick all off in Penn State's ass every time he plays them. But unfortunately, I think a good landing spot for Franklin, which I'll do a separate video about possible landing spots for him, because I do find it pretty interesting on what he may end up deciding to do. But I think a good landing spot for him would probably end up being the Stanford job. It just seems like that would be a good fit for him. And I think he'd do some good things there. But I would love to see him go to fucking Wisconsin and just kick Penn State's fucking teeth in every year. I would love it. Love it. Fuck you, Penn State. Let's see. What other coaches? I know I'm missing some. I don't know why I'm all of a sudden having just a brain fart. But I guess I'll end it there. Those are the more prominent ones that are popping up. I know LSU fans have been talking a lot about Brian Kelly and wanting Brian Kelly gone. It ain't gonna happen, dude. If that buyout's insane. I don't even remember what it is off the top of my head, but I know y'all gave him like a 10-year, $130 million or whatever the fuck it was contract, and he's only like 4 years in. So you would probably be looking at another $60 million buyout, like Penn State did with Franklin. And I really hope LSU's not that fucking retarded. There's some more coaching firings that's going to happen. I am curious, though, if Lane Kiffin takes that Florida job, who should be first up for that Ole Miss job? That's an interesting one, because Ole Miss has been good for several years now, and they got a good roster. I know that a lot of those guys will probably leave when Lane Kiffin leaves, but I think that's an interesting job opportunity. And you know, could you see somebody like Glenn Schumann or that offensive coordinator, Alex Grinch, or whatever the fuck his name is, at Alabama? Could you see somebody like that maybe jump at an opportunity to go continue what the Lane train was doing? That's interesting. Anyway, that's all I got for now. I'll be putting out a little something for the Georgia-Florida game. Have a good one.